So, sir, what are mental health challenges?
Okay, so mental health challenges are basically issues that affect the mental health of the affected individual that leads to a decline. It could lead to a sharp decline or a slow and steady decline in the state of health or state of well-being mentally of the affected individual.
Okay, so what are the type of mental health challenge a person can face?
Okay, so now there are a whole lot different types of mental health challenges the affected individual can face, and if we want to talk about them, we are not even going to live here for days. So, and this is where psychology, psychiatry, and all those kind of things come in. So there are many types. It could be from past traumas, depression. It could even be as a result of hereditary um, predispositions to different kind of mental health diseases. It's a whole lot. But the commonest ones are the ones that we can talk about.
Okay, like
Okay, like depression.
okay.
Everybody talks about depression, and it's a broad term for low mood. There are sometimes you might not be feeling in the mood to laugh or to talk. Everybody will say, oh, he or she is depressed, but that is actually not depression. I would just say it's a change of mood, and it's temporary. It lasts for a short while, given the situation that brought it up. And of course, there's also something that we look at. We look at individuality. A person that is going through low mood can easily snap out of it, you know, based on their worldview. Worldview just means how you interpret things, how you see things. We are in this same room now. The way you see things might be different from how I see things. You might be going through something right now that you might need like 100 more of it to break you down. I might just need like two more of it to break me down. But my worldview is different. But we are staying in the same room. This is why mental health is very important, because people are going through a whole lot of things, and people just think, if I'm okay going through it, then you should be okay going through it. No, that's not it. There's something called with your widow's might, right? You might have a strength to lift more things than I can. But because I'm a man and you are a lady, someone will say, he's a man, he should be stronger. I'm a human being. I'm a human being. You are a human being. So you don't assign some certain things. It's not like I'm saying that men are not biologically meant to be stronger than women, but mentally is different. So this depression now, back to depression. Sorry that I digressed. So back to this depression. What we mainly call depression in the broad term is low mood. Something happened to me today, I got broke, or somebody stole my money, and I'm sad. So that now means you are depressed. No, that's not really what it means. It just means that because of the situation, you are not happy with what has happened. Sadness is a part of life. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to feel down. But a complication of repetitive trauma can lead one to depression over time. A complication of continuous sadness can lead one to depression. Now, it could be mild depression, it could be severe, where we now need a psychiatrist to come in. That's what we call clinical depression. Many people are clinically depressed, but because we have a poor mental health structure in Nigeria today, these people are not properly cared for. That is the major problem. We don't have structures to care for these people. So that's where this whole thing now becomes very unstable. A person can go through a particular traumatic event right now, and then depression sets in. It could be the loss of a loved one. It it could be the loss of a very important job. It could be maybe breakup. It could be different things like that, like that, and the person just goes into a deep depression that they find it difficult coming out from. Some people might be mildly depressed. It could change their mood for days, but does not affect their life on the long run and they are able to come out of it. This is where individuality comes in. Now, let's assume that someone loses a loved one. If you lose a loved one, most especially, and this person was an integral part of your life, you will definitely feel it because you can't see the person again. You are going to imagine life without. So when you begin to go through these phases, it's like first of all there is denial. You go through the phases of grief. There is denial. You are asking that no, this is not true. Then slowly you begin to analyze the thing. Then slowly you begin to accept it. You know the person is dead. Okay, you might also say, I won't be able to function for a couple of days. Maybe you take a break from work. You are doing things reasonably, but you are sad. Your days are not going well like the normal way it's supposed to go, but you are aware. The fact that you are aware of it and you can control some certain things, you are being reasonable to take time off, to reminisce, to get used to it. When you accept that this is the problem and then you slowly begin to pick yourself up, it could take some months, it could take a couple of weeks, then you come out of it. That is, yeah, you went through a depressed state. But you have some people, it could be a husband or it could even be mother, or it just depends on how the connection was. They may not be able to take the trauma. It becomes a terrible state. It's a terrible mental state where they feel completely hopeless. Now, this hopelessness could complicate with affection of lifestyle over weeks, then it goes to months, then there's a decline. They would not want to eat, they don't find anything interesting in life again. If the person is married, they are not interested in any intimate activities with their partners. They are unable to cope at work, they are unable to concentrate, they look haggard, they look unkempt, they won't even bathe, they won't even do anything again. Now, this is where, of course, we now need psychological intervention. We need care. I'm not saying that the person who is going through mild depression does not need care.
Yeah.
You need to watch them. You need to attend to them. But these particular ones, this one has affected life. They are not even controlling anything. They are not reasonable. They could be erratic. Then it becomes a big problem. Now, we have these criteria. There are criteria that we use to identify mental health disorders, and it is called the DSM-5, Diagnostic Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, fifth edition. So it's a very dense book. So it has different kinds of health challenges and the criteria that you must follow. Meaning, these are the things for a particular length of time that a person will present with and make you know that this is what the person is suffering from. So it could be depression, clinical form. It may be going on for a couple of weeks, let's say 2 to 3 weeks at a stretch. And this person, there are other signs that you are seeing that affect the person's life. And then it makes you come to that diagnosis. If you have not seen those signs, you don't just assign someone a diagnosis and say, oh, this person is suffering from depression. You have mania, you have PTSD. Post traumatic stress disorder is also another kind of mental health challenge that some people go through. For example, you have a 13-year-old child who saw his parents or her parents die during the civil war, and that thing continues to play in their mind. Many people that suffer PTSD are people in the army. They fought wars, they've seen death, they've seen their colleagues die, their best friends die, you know. And let's say they finally come home. When they sleep, they have bad, terrible dreams. They wake up. Some people may have what we call maybe nightmares, night terrors, and all those kind of things. They end up screaming at the middle of the night because those images of death and horror begins to flash in their it could also be that is quite serious because it will mess up with their minds. They may not be able to function properly. They see life differently. So, and you can't easily stay with such people, you who have not gone through that thing. we will now be calling them quote and unquote mad
Mad.
in a society that has poor mental health education, and we call them mad. It's very wrong. Yes, they are psychologically challenged. We use the word mentally challenged because it's a challenge. Anybody can go through it. Even in Nigeria today, you and I, we are not sure. I think we are mentally challenged. We are going through a form of PTSD. Things we were able to do before, we cannot do it. Coupled with emotional life, we are handling a whole lot of things. You will go on, you will go out and you will see the way people are behaving. Everybody is angry. Some people are depressed. Just a few weeks back, a woman committed suicide standing by the side of a bridge and fell backwards to the ground, not even to water. And the story was she had tried her best. People were calling her lazy. She had three children. People were calling her lazy. She tried to look for jobs. There was no food to eat, and she said people didn't understand. And everybody says, why did she commit suicide? God is there. Yes, God is there. But do you know the psychological state of this woman, her worldview, how she saw life? It's different from how you and I are seeing life. Yes, maybe we have some hope left. How many hope we get? Can you even count it? Me, I don't know how many hope I get, but we are just hoping to God that it will not reach that level. But this is a mental health challenge. If people had listened to her before she did that thing and taken her to a place, assuming the structures were in place, none of these things will happen now. She went through a form of depression, maybe from PTSD too. Some people, it could be as small as they lost a loved one in the most horrible way. You get maybe an accident, maybe they just heard something. Some people, it could be break up in relationships. Everybody goes through that. Now, because when one is so connected to someone and you are betrayed, it is expected. It is expected. But like I had said before, individuality matters. How you handle it matters.
Okay, so how can society or the government in general help people with mental challenges?
Well, the thing about it is, first of all, we everybody has to learn how to understand people, and that's the hardest thing in this life. I used to say
Okay.
it too. Understanding people is the hardest thing in this life. Do unto others what you want others to do unto you. If you don't want to be cheated on, don't cheat on somebody else and give them PTSD. If you don't want to be hurt, don't hurt somebody else knowingly and give them trauma. That's based on that one. Then there should be structures in place to cater to people who have psychological issues. First of all, Nigeria itself, where I'm facing Nigeria now, Nigeria itself, the structure is almost gone. Normal health care we don't even have. Is it mental health that is there?
I feel like the ones we have, like the government ones we have, is not really enough for
At all. They are not even doing anything. We've heard of Arrow now. We are
the
come
only
under Arrow. We know Yaba left. How much
people
is
are
the
always the place
government
is kind of always overpopulated.
exactly? So how would they be able to even care for those people? And I have heard that many of these people usually is as a result of maybe some form of heartbreak. Some of them are there for some certain they would have some drug abuse, definitely. So there need to be structures in place to cater to people, and of course we have to also make sure that the situation in the country is helping people in need as it should be. Because you don't expect a country where the government does not even care about what happens to your children, what happens to you, and you are left to fend for yourself in almost every single sphere of your life. And when it becomes so much, you are on your own. So what now happens? Depression sets in, and then there's nowhere to run to. Everybody, and do you know one thing? God, please have mercy on me. But there is one thing that is what has made us to turn towards a higher being for everything that even God has given us the mindset to create, to make life easy for us. There is no hope. Who else will give us hope?
God.
Is God. Everybody goes to church, everybody prays and fasts in a country that's not even giving you food in the first place. You pray and fast, you will pray. And after you pray, has anybody sat down to say, okay, this place I'm praying to travel to, let's say you want to Jackman and you want to travel there. How many of those people there are praying as much as you are praying? Is it not still in the surface of this earth? Why is it that there you want to go there? Because structures are in place to care for you. When you are sick, there's insurance, yes, of course, you have to pay through your nose for some certain things. But when you pay, there's value for your money. There are hospitals, there are foundations that help people with mental health problems. There's a lot of aid there. Of course, people are still going through depression there, but at least it's not as much, and it's not like you don't have the structures to cater to them. So government should please start from the most minimal, provide for people. For people in need, provide for them, and then health care, mental health. Because when the brain is sick, it's like when your stomach is sick, when
Yes,
the kidney
all
is,
the body.
you know, it's not a plague from evil spirits. It's something that happens. It is there. It happens to everybody. Even me, said, I don't know if I get mental issues, but with the manager, so that's just it. We just need structures in place, and everybody should help each other. You see that someone is not doing well, attempt to at least know. If you know you cannot help them yourself, if you have any way you can link them up to places where you get help, it's fine. It's good.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. I
Yeah,
think that will be all for today. So, as you heard from our doctor here, please let's help one another. That's the whole matter. Okay, it's Annie's Fit as usual. See you guys next time.
peace out.
Bye.